Hey, what's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. In today's video, we're going to discuss my thoughts on kettlebells building chest strength and chest musculature. Okay, why? Because that was actually an email I got recently. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever wanted huge pecs, right? Or a huge bench press? Yeah, I did, right? Up until I was about 23. Okay. And that's when I stopped powerlifting and started Olympic weightlifting. And you know what I discovered? All that benching and the assistance work that comes along with it, right? The incline bench, the close-grip bench, right? It didn't help one iota with my overhead strength, with my jerk, okay? Or any of my overhead work for that matter, okay? All that bench pressing work did was tighten me up and make it difficult to rack the bar. We rack the bar across the shoulders here. Now it's called the front rack position, but back when I was coming up, it was just the rack position. Okay. It just made it difficult to rack the bar. Okay. In fact, I spent months stretching so I could get in that rack position. And let me tell you something, man, it was painful, especially this left side, because this left elbow, I don't know if I've shown this to you before, but this left elbow does not bend fully, nor does it straighten fully. Okay. That's from breaking my arm when I was wrestling. It's almost a compound fracture. It was nice, and I didn't get any rehab on it. Okay. It was super awesome. It made learning how to do Olympic weightlifting so much more fun than if I hadn't broken my arm, let me tell you. And that is, yes, all sarcasm. Okay. But you know what I found was fascinating is that my bench really didn't suffer at all by training all the overhead work and increasing the mobility in my shoulders, okay, and my elbows, as much as I could get out of this, and my wrists from Olympic lifting, okay? At one point, I was actually hitting 5 sets of 2 reps with 90% of my all-time 1RM bench press. And that was without much bench press practice at all right? Which brings me to the point of today's video, right? Which is based on a question I got from Jeremiah in an email. And in that email, Jeremiah asked, what's your thoughts on kettlebells building chest strength and musculature? I really don't see you talk about it much, and it seems to be missing from your kettlebell pyramid. If you don't know what the kettlebell pyramid is, it's the 5 levels of kettlebell training, which put together in a pyramid, and we'll flash that up here on the screen, okay? So my response was quite simple. The kettlebell press trains the upper chest, the clavicular pecs, this region right here, okay? For any other chest work, I personally do ring dips. And honestly, I just don't focus on chest work at all. My pecs appear big enough to me now, okay? And look, I hope you don't find this offensive, but I just don't care to look like I have a big pair of, well, you know what I'm saying, like, which is what big pecs on many guys look like, you know, from my perspective. So, but to each his own, right? So here's some more thoughts on that idea. I've also noticed that the single kettlebell press and later the double kettlebell press improve, right, and maintain your proper shoulder function and mechanics, so to speak, right? The way your shoulder blades are designed to move across your rib cage, assuming you're using the proper technique. And I've used it, the press, the single press, dumbbell, kettlebell, and the double kettlebell press eventually for clients recovering from shoulder issues as part of post-rehab work, okay? Now, honestly, all this pressing, people are like, oh man, you can't press so much, it hurts your shoulders, right? All this pressing keeps my shoulders plenty healthy and strong too. In fact, I recently got an email from Gilles in France. I think that's how you pronounce his name. My French is a little rusty. It's been about 30 years, right? And he said that presses actually fixed his shoulder problems, okay? I emailed him back and told him, of course, I wasn't surprised. So what have we learned here in today's video, either directly or implied, other than I don't want to look like I have a pair of, you know, like a girl. Okay. So number 1, too much direct chest work, including bench press, can tighten up your shoulders and limit your overhead pressing abilities. Okay. And any other overhead work, including the get-ups, believe it or not. Number 2, too much direct chest work, including bench press, can screw up your shoulder mechanics and even lead to injury. Number 3, direct overhead work, like the press, is actually good for your shoulders. It's healthy for your shoulders when performed using the correct technique and can actually help fix busted shoulders, okay? Number 4, direct overhead work like the press can actually maintain and possibly even improve direct chest work like the bench press. Number 5, ring dips or parallel bar dips, if you prefer, or even straight bar dips, may be a better choice for you for direct chest work, okay? Now, for a fair amount of overhead work, all right, or I should say a fair variety of overhead work, there's a program I have called the Giant X. I'll leave a link in the description for the video where you can pick up a copy or at least check it out, okay? And if you want to include dips with your presses, I recommend a program called Rebuilt After 40, and I'll leave a link in the video description below. Look, at the end of the day, the reality is this. Most guys limit their shoulder function and their shoulder health by overemphasizing chest work, especially horizontal pushing, right? Like the bench press and even a gajillion push-ups, which, you know, all of us did in wrestling practice, football practice. If you went to boot camp, right, you're very familiar with push-ups, okay? But the deal here is this. When you focus on building a strong press using proper technique, not only will you pack muscle on your upper body, okay, you'll also train your chest without damaging your shoulders in the process, okay? Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, click the like button, smash the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and share it with a friend who's struggling with getting big pecs and reconciling getting big pecs or strong pecs while using kettlebells, all right? And also, finally, leave me a comment in the section below. The comment section below. Okay. All right. Until next time, my friend, stay strong.